Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's SPE-UTM SC Career Fair 2025 Exclusive Industrial Talk. We are so glad to have you with us, and we will be starting shortly. Before we begin, I'd like to go over a few quick housekeeping announcements to help ensure a smooth and engaging session for everyone. Please ensure your microphone is muted throughout the session unless you are invited to speak during the Q&A or any interactive segment. If you have any questions during the talk, feel free to type them into the chat box of our Q&A section at any time. We will address them during the Q&A segment at the end. Hello. Hello. That's my. Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and a warm welcome to each and every one of you. I hope you are all feeling enthusiastic and ready for an enriching session ahead. Welcome to the SPE-SC Career Fair 2025 Exclusive Industrial Talk, organized by the Society of Petroleum Engineers. UTM Student Chapter SPE-UTM SC. My name is Zaid, and I'm truly honored to be your MC for this evening's special event. To start, it is my pleasure to extend a heartfelt welcome to our distinguished guest speakers, Ms. Hiraya Sofia Hidzir, Technical Sales Engineer and SLB-UTM Campus Manager, and Ms. Hafizah Liana Peter, Talent Acquisition Specialist, SLB East Asia, who have graciously joined us today to share their knowledge and insights. We are deeply privileged to have them with us, and we look forward to learning from their expertise. Hello. We are also delighted to welcome several distinguished individuals who are with us this evening. Syed Firas bin Syed Fauzi, President of SPE-UTM SC, and Wong Kar-chun, Director of SPE Career Fair Program. Warm thank you as well to all of you, our valued participants, for being here today and taking time out of your day to be part of this special event. To begin our program with blessings and gratitude, I would now like to invite Mr. Muhammad Arshad to lead us in Dua recitation. Please welcome him.
Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma innaka haq khalaqul azim, innaka sami'un alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arshil azim, innaka al-barrul jawadul karim. In the name of Allah, the entire merciful, the especially merciful. All praise due to Allah, Lord of the world, the entire merciful, the especially merciful, the sovereign of the day recompense. It's you we worship, and you we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed favor, not of those who have evoked your anger, or of those who are astray. Ya Allah, with your mercy and protection, we are able to gather here at this event, SPE-UTM SC Career Fair 2025. In this wonderful event, we humble pray to you, Allah, the Almighty, to increase our knowledge in the industry and enhance our knowledge further in the career of this field. Ya Allah, may our gathering here a blessed one, and our dispersion thereafter a guided and protected one, and make not any among us to wreck or deprive one. Ya Allah, the one full of knowledge between the good and evil, between the obvious and unseen. Protect us from the calamity and danger, from disturbance and strife. Grant us our prayers, guide us to the right and to the path that you bless. Provide us with the people that are sincere, trustworthy, and honest, responsible in a building developed nation, united people. We forever seek your blessing towards excellence, glory and distinction. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Arshad, for the touching and meaningful recitation. May today's event proceed smoothly and be filled with wisdom, inspiration, and barakah. To officially kick off this event, it gives me a great pleasure to invite a key figure from the SPE-UTM SC. Please join me in welcoming TS Dr. Muhammad Akmal bin Muhammad Siddiq, Advisor of SPE-UTM SC, to deliver his opening remarks. Dr. Akmal, the screen is yours.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good evening, guys. Can you hear me? Clear?
Yes, clear.
All right, thank you
Yes.
very much. So I would like to thank respective guest speaker, Ms. Hidayah Sofia Hize from SLB and also as a UTM campus manager, and also Ms. Hafizah Yana Peter in this session as a talent acquisition specialist of SLB, and also Dr. Shazira. I see you here in this room. So Dr. Shazira is a main advisor SPE-UTM SC. So I'm as a second advisor of this society. So also we have a president of SPE here, Sheikh Firas, and director, very outstanding director, Wong Kachun. Okay, Wong Kachun, are you okay? All right. Thanks for being here in this evening. So Alhamdulillah, it is truly blessing that we are together in the SPE-UTM SC Career Fair in 2025. Previously, we have done in 2024. So we are continuing. This is our legacy from previously. We are continue Career Fair again and again to enhance our student knowledge about the internship and also future development career in oil and gas. Okay, make sure that beware that our ranking petroleum engineering program is top 50 among 1,000 program in the world. We are top 50 lah. So congratulations, but we have a lot things to do. Okay, we have a lot of things to do in terms of research and human capital, especially for the student development. Also, we achieve 100% graduate employability. Okay, to all SPE-UTM SC members. I would like to inform to you, all of your senior 100% achieve 100% graduate employability, and then about 60%, most of them 60%, currently salary above premium employability, which is above 4,000 ringgit. Okay, about the 4,000 and 5,000 ringgit. Most of them are working in Singapore. Most of them working in Singapore, of course, above 4,000 ringgit. So congratulations, all of you. So this is remarkable, and then this is as a give a spirit to you to make sure that you need to strive for success in terms of academic and personal skill. Okay, this event is designed with a clear purpose to provide career guidance through resume and also networking session. Thank you very much, SLB, guide our student. And then I would like to share during my time in 2006, I was also one of the candidates during my time. 2006, 2006 in SLB have a different method. Maybe we have a 4 stage to enter the SLB. My time, my colleague is only 40 students, and then among of us is a man. Okay, it's about only 10 women, and rest is a man. So during my time, we have a 4 stage in 2004 to enter the SLB as a intern. Okay, first stage we are pulling in the group, and then they give a task. The task is about need to complete 10 minutes, and then they give only newspaper, menthol, and battery, and then we need to make a torch. Okay, torchlight. Okay, torchlight. Which group has the longest torchlight? Okay, only they given us newspaper, battery, and also the menthol. So this is a group task to see your quick thinking and capability to sell the product. Okay, and then second stage is also grouping. Third task is about the grooming, and then last task is one-to-one. Okay, during that time, our panels, recruiter level is a senior manager, SLB in KSB, Kemaman Sabah base. So among of them, luckily almost what we call it, 20% of our colleague working as SLB. Me change to red color. You know what red color is, Liberton. Okay. This is a journey. Okay, this is a previous method how SLB recruit us during that time, 2006. So at the end, I would like to express my appreciation to Mr. Wong Kachun. Congratulations to design this UTM SPE Career Fair, and also the entire committee. Congratulations, your hard work and commitment have made today possible, and it doesn't go unnoticed. To all participants, make the most of this opportunity, ask questions to the expert panels, engage with them, and connect with your peers. So this is more important. Let today be a step forward in your professional development. Once again, thank you very much. Wish everyone productive and insight evening. Okay, enjoy the event. Thank you very much. Okay, right, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Akmal, for your thoughtful and inspiring address. Up next, it is my honor to welcome a distinguished figure from the SPE-UTM SC. Let us now hear a few words from Sheikh Muhammad Firas bin Said Fauzi, President of SPE-UTM SC, as he shares his welcoming remarks for today's event. Mr. Firas, screen is yours.
Thank you so much, Zaid. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening, everyone. On behalf of SPE-UTM SC, I am honored to extend a warm welcome to all of you to the SPE-UTM SC Career Fair 2025 exclusive industrial talk. A special welcome and heartfelt appreciation to our distinguished guests, Ms. Hidayah Sophia, Ms. Hafiza Liana, and also Mr. Hanif Shehadi from SLB, as well also Dr. Akmal, our advisor. And I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Wong Kachun, the director of SPE-UTM SC Career Fair 2025, and his committee to make this event successful. So today's event marks yet another meaningful milestone in our ongoing commitment to bridge the gap between academia and energy industry. It serves as a platform not only to explore career opportunities, but to foster connections, spark ideas, and empower future professionals in the oil and gas sector. To our speakers, thank you for generously sharing your time and insight. Your experience, knowledge are truly invaluable to our members. To all participants, your enthusiasm, curiosity, and dedication to learning are what make events like this successful. I encourage you to take full advantage of today's program, engage actively, ask questions, and connect to the professionals who are here to guide you on your journey. Thank you, and I wish everyone a fruitful and engaging session.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Firas, for the warm and encouraging words. Now, moving forward in our agenda, we are pleased to hear from the person spearheading one of the most anticipated initiatives under SPE-UTM SC, the SPE Career Fair program. It is my pleasure to invite Wong Kachun, Director of the SPE Career Fair program, to share a few words and insights with us regarding this exciting event. Mr. Kachun, the screen is yours.
Good evening. A warm welcome to our distinguished guest speaker, Ms. Hidayah Sophia Izid, Technical Cell Engineer of SLB and UTM Campus Manager, and Ms. Hafiza Lana Peter, Talent Acquisition Specialist of SLB East Asia. I could also like to acknowledge Mr. Hanif, Talent Acquisition Manager for SLB, Dr. Muhammad Amal, Advisor of SPE-UTM SC, Mr. Syed Muhammad Firas, President of SPE-UTM SC, and all the participants present here today. It is a truly pleasure to extend my heartfelt greeting at this much anticipated event, which brings together some of the most inspiring minds and future leaders in the energy industry. A special note of appreciation to Ms. Hidayah Sophia Isi and Ms.
Hafiza, Laina, Peter for willing to become the speaker of today's event. I believe your insight and experience will undoubtedly enrich today's dialogue. I also like to extend my sincere thanks to Mr. Hanif. Without your support, this event would not have been possible. And I also like to extend my thanks to Mr. Syed Muhammad Firas for giving me an opportunity to become the director of this event. To the community, to the committee, your dedication and hard work in making this session a reality do not go unnoticed. Thank you for your effort in creating this valuable opportunity for all of us. To participants, this is more than just a knowledge sharing section. It is a space to connect, learn, and grow. I encourage you to be curious, ask questions, and fully engage with our speaker. Let's today be the beginning of new idea, collaboration, and personal growth as future leader in the oil and gas industry. With that, I now return the floor to our MC. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kachun, for the informative and inspiring remarks. We look forward to seeing the success of this year's career event. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to the highlight of the session, our guest speaker presentations. Today, we are truly honored to be joined by two accomplished professionals who bring with them a wealth of experience from the energy industry. Let me begin by introducing our first speaker, Ms. Hidayah Sofia Hidze, currently serving as a technical sales engineer and SPE-UTM campus manager. She is a proud UTM alumni, having graduated in 2015 with a Bachelor of Engineering in Manufacturing from the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering. She began her career journey with SLB after being recruited during the UTM Career Fair as field engineer trainee for testing service based in Perth, Australia. With little understanding of oil and gas, she embarked on a journey with SLB to learn, grow, and acquire knowledge in the industry via multiple assignments worldwide from Australia to Papua New Guinea, from New Zealand to Qatar, and from the continent of Asia to Europe and Africa. Having the opportunity to take on multiple roles in SLB, she managed to gain insights on both technical and management skills through various assignments on field service, team leading roles, and sales and commercial positions such as field engineer, customer engagement coordinator, and technical sales engineer. With 5 years of worldwide experience, she returned back to Malaysia as senior field engineer and currently assigned as technical sales engineer for midstream production system, covering East Asia and Indonesia. Outside of work, she is an avid adventurer, sports enthusiast, and speedbike rider who enjoys diving, badminton, futsal, and more. Without further delay, let us warmly welcome our esteemed speaker, Ms. Hidayah Sofia Hidze. She will be presenting a talk entitled An Engineer's Journey After UTM, where she will take us through her personal and professional experience after graduation and offer valuable perspective for those preparing to start their own careers. Please join me in giving her a virtual round of applause by reacting in the chat or using the clap emoji. Ms. Hidayah Sofia Hidze, the screen is yours.
All right. First of all, sound check. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, clear. Thank you.
Okay, clear. First of all, thank you, Zaid, for a very lengthy introduction. I just realized that it's been a while, you know, in my professional journey as an engineer, right? And many thanks to UTM SPE SC committee advisor, key members, and also audience for inviting me today. I'm delighted to speak to all of you today. So to be honest, I was thinking a lot about what I'm going to share with you guys today, right? Because I think start of my career, I'm actually one of you guys, you know, sitting. We don't have a webinar back then, right? 10 years ago, but we do actually have sharing session during the UTM career. And I think I want to start my talk today by putting myself back into those shoes, remembering how do I started in the first place, right? My experience actually at start is more or less as TS Dr. Akmal, right? We go round and round and round for interview sessions from UTM Career Fair, got interviewed, been in a waiting list for a year, and then got my offer, and then the rest is history, right? But before I start, let me introduce myself, right? My name is Hidayah Sophia Hitze. People call me Sophia in SLB because you can imagine how hard it is for all of my English bosses to pronounce Hidayah, right? It's a lot, like sometimes it's Hidayah and Hadia and all that one, right? So I just say, okay, you know, I make it easy for all of you. Just call me Sophia. So Sophia stuck with me until today, but sometimes when I have a boss that from Malaysian or Arabs, they still call me Hidayah. So you guys can call me Sophia. I'm the technical sales or process optimization engineer for SLB. Midstream production system, process people might know what I'm talking about, right? I'm an ex-alumni of UTM, probably from Faculty of Mechanical Engineering. So FKM, give me a thumbs up, you know, if you guys are in here. So my journey started in 2016 actually. End of 2016, I received my letter to Perth, Australia as a field engineer trainee. It was a hell of a scary ride for me, because I think that is just the second time of me going abroad, right? I think my first time going abroad is we have this global outreach program in UTM. I'm not sure if still have it now, but that is my first time going abroad, which is to Seoul, Korea, with my classmates. We do have this global outreach program, going to few universities in Seoul. And then the second time I'm leaving the country is actually joining SLB for my induction in Abu Dhabi, right? And then from there, 2016, 17, I started as a field engineer trainee. 2018, I got promoted to field engineer, still in Perth, Australia, but knowing SLB, the world is quite small. Seriously, when I joined SLB, I feel like the world is very small in such a way that different continent or different country is just next door, right? So I've done a few hitch in another country, Qatar, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Papua New Guinea, Algeria, New Zealand, and among those, I go through and go up through my progression to a senior field engineer. And then 2021 until now, I'm a office-based CEC project engineer, technical sales, we would call it, based in Kuala Lumpur, right? So what do I do in my role, right? Quite a bit at this moment, but right now I'm more on the process solution curator for our worldwide client, mostly in East Asia, but I also cover India and Mumbai and also Indonesia. So I lead the technical services and service delivery in the field and in the office, and then strategizing also the client solution delivery to enhance our profitability. So that's a lot of big words that saying from start of field until our interaction with the clients, right? So I have, I think this year is the 9th year, right? One more year to double digit of my SLB experience. I start first 5 years quite in international landscape. I've been few places, right? I start actually my first travel is the first letter I got is already in Australia, right? But I remember I wasn't heading straight to Perth. I actually head to Abu Dhabi first, to one of our learning center for a 5 days introduction. And I was like, this company just sent people for 5 days just for introduction, right? So from there, I was like, okay, so this is a company to be with, right? Like, world is very small. I go 5 days in Abu Dhabi, the next 5 days in Perth, and I spent a couple of months in Perth, and then 3 months later, I spent another 3 months in Paris for my training school, right? So that's quite a bit of international travel for me. And then 2021, COVID hits and things start to change, right? You start seeing life in perspective, and you know, if you got COVID, then you wouldn't know what's going to happen to you, to your family. And the first chance of, okay, Sophia, we are sending you home, and I gladly take it, right? So now here I am in Kuala Lumpur, taking care of business in East Asia, in India, and also Indonesia. So there's a few fake pictures of me. If you guys can see my screen, I'm not too sure if I share my screen. Let me try. Okay, wait there. Actually, just give me a thumbs up if you guys can see my screen. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I have few monitors, so I will be looking here, but my monitors in on that one, right? So if you guys can see pictures there, right? There's a couple of pictures of me, mostly in orange coveralls at that time. That one in Langlo Batu is actually outside Malaysia, Sarawak water. I was in New Zealand with like the only girl there, you know, among multinational teams, right? I have a Malaysian with me, Indonesian with me, from Iran, from Australia, even from the UK. And then the one in the bottom is when I was in Beach Otway. It's in South Australia. I was working with a local company. I was actually their supervisor, surprisingly, right? Like I was like the smallest one there, and everyone there actually reporting to me. So it was quite an interesting experience to be with, you know, dealing with so much madness around me, and at the same time try to get them to do what I need them to do. So I think that is also interesting. And also me in NF12, which is in onshore Qatar. So I was with people from Shell and the rest of the team there as well, right? So it's quite a bit of I would say traveling that happened to me during those times, and I think that is one of the most cherishable moments that I have managed to collect around my experience working with SLB, right? So how do I get here, right? So how do I get here? For me, the first step of being who I am today, I believe, is more on my interview, right? My interview, my engagement with my recruiter back then, they are, for me, your interview is your way of making a first impression. And I believe everybody should have this kind of mindset, right? I have the privilege actually to join our talent acquisition team back in UTM Pearl. I think it was last week. I was in JB-UTM and managed to talk to a few of you. Maybe you can give me a thumbs up if you see me again. You know, I'm glad to see you guys again today. So I think one of the most important bit that I can take from that interaction that I have with most of you is number one is you definitely need to be yourself, right? I feel like every time I feel like people come and talk to me, I feel like you guys are very scared of me. I'm not too sure why. I think I smile most of the time. You know, I make sure my hair is okay before I talk to you guys. But for me, you make your interview it's like a conversation, right? You not presentation, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about who you are, right? And if you want to work with SLB in the long term, you need to be able to be who you are and be the best version of yourself, right? And I think the second part that maybe I can drop here is actually you need to do your homework, right? I think there's a lot of people that come to me during the UTM Pearl and actually ask me what SLB does, right? And it's quite interesting to hear that, because for me, if I want something like enough, I will be doing my homework and have the answer before I went there, right? At least what SLB does, what is the difference between SLB and other operators and all that, right? And then, of course, impressed me a little bit with, I would say, understanding of current market outlook, right? And how the current economic crisis is impacting the whole thing, right? So I think this is a few things that I feel like a few things that maybe you guys can take note and I would say implement over the journey of your interview time later, right? So I'm moving to my next slide. 2017. How do my SLB life started? Right, like everyone else, I think the start has always been the hardest, but at this moment, I can confidently say that I am very, very different from who I am when I first started SLB. When I start SLB, I play a lot of sport back in UTM, right? Masuk, Sukip, college sport, you know, open championship. So I play a lot of futsal and also a lot of volleyball, right? But it doesn't even begin to comprehend the challenges that I have gone through in my SLB life, right? I start with, if you see the first picture there, right? It's actually a literal hammer that actually bigger than my legs, right? And it's hard work, right? But I think all of my sporting days have prepared me for this day, you know. But I'm quite lucky because when I start in Australia, there are expectation of, okay, men and women are equal. But then if I cannot do it and I ask for their help, they're always going to be the first one to come and give me a helping hand, right? Because they know being equal doesn't mean that I can lift what they lift, right? Maybe the guy can lift 50 kilo, I cannot lift 50 kilo, right? But then they want to see me try to lift it, right? Maybe I cannot manual lift, but I can use crane. I can use a mechanical lifting aid. So you need to be creative in such a way that you solve problem. And when you put the effort and the problem cannot be solved, and then you ask for help, right? Because at the end of the day, people want to see you try, put it an effort, right? But make sure to do it always in a safe possible condition, right? It started quite in a hard work, right? I hammer piping. I go in the field. If you can see the second picture, it was in a harsh condition. It was hot, sticky, noisy, but I think the most hardest bit of it is actually away from my family and surrounded by a foreign people and environment. But surprisingly, I saw above it all. I managed to complete my years there. So I guess human beings actually are stronger than what they think they are. It was quite tough at the beginning. I cried a lot. I'm not gonna sugarcoat and say everything is good, right? I cried a lot. My mom can tell you how many times I call her and say, I just want to come home. I don't want to do it anymore. But I think my mom has always been this kind of person that tell me, you know, you try your best. And if you cannot, then you call me again tomorrow and we discuss, right? So with my mom, it's always been, okay, you take day by day, right? You take day by day. And actually, as the day goes, things get a little bit easier, right? Because I start to get to know people, I start to have friends, I start to understand what I'm doing. So surprisingly, I managed to breeze through it. And during this time, I built my skills, right? I built my skills from technical skills, my communication skills, my generic skills, even my English. To be honest, when I first started, I don't speak like this, right? I think I speak normal English, you know. But then over the time, I go to school, you know, I learn the technical bit of it. I go offshore, I do the on-the-job training. I complete my fixed step training. So in SLB, we have this fixed step training where we need to be from grade 8 until grade 11 within 3 years, right? So that's a timeline for you to do it. And I go to offshore jobs. I met a lot of people, you know, talking to Australian who very demanding, talking to Indonesian who are very, very helpful people, talking to Iranian people who are always about like scolding you first before helping you. So it builds in such a way that it builds to who I am. And then at the end of the day, I start, you know, reshaping my life, reshaping myself into someone who I could barely recognize anymore after 3 years, but in such a way that making me proud of where I am today, right? So on the third picture, this is where I was in New Zealand, right? We were in this client called OMV. They just bought Shell at that region at that moment. So we have this well intervention work. So we do actually have quite a lot of fun out there, but of course, offshore life has always been tough. Being away from your family has always been tough, but this is the people that helped me go through it, right? So at this time, I built my skill and I learned who I am, right? And then in 2019, I got promoted from field engineer trainee, a field engineer to senior field engineer. But this time, I can feel that I'm more comfortable in my skin. It took me, I think, 2 to 3 years to get used to all of the time away from the family, the environment. But then after I got promoted to senior field engineer, I start to enjoy the experience. I meet the new people, you know, and at this moment as well, from technical point of view, I start taking more on the leading role. I start taking an lead engineer role during the operations locally in Australia and also in a worldwide assignment. So SLB does provide you or us with a lot of opportunities to work abroad, to live abroad, to do different things. And I feel like 2019 is where I learned the most because when you got promoted to a senior role, it's not just about you anymore. It's about leading people, right? How to deal with people from a different nationality, different races, and speaking different language. So if you see, let the picture talks, right? If you see the first picture is when I was in Ocean Onyx, Ocean for a well testing job. Client is great, people is great, food is great, right? But offshore has always been a little bit mix of, okay, you try to have fun, but you cannot really have too much fun because the operation is very demanding. Safety is paramount, right? So it's quite a good experience for me there. And the second one, at the top one, that is when I was in New Zealand. That's like all my team. I'm the only woman there. But sometimes being the only woman out there, you can feel that the whole whole of your team is actually taking care of you, right? They care about, okay, how you feel today, what do you like, have you eat and all that, right? And I remember Wong come to me during the UTM poll and asked me quite a bit of question in regards to mental health, right? And this is what I tell Wong, right? Things are tough. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna lie to you. But whenever I'm out there, I always feel that we need to find a joy and hold on to it, right? So my trick when I was there, right, because I was away from families, you know, with all these guys out there, I always treat my team as my family, right? So at the end of the day, when they treat me as a family, I feel like, okay, I'm sad today, but I have someone that I can talk to from my team, right? So yes, the mental health is a concern, but you need to find a way to go above and beyond, and try to find the joy within the small community that you have. And if you didn't manage, Things are a bit different now. When I first started, I think 10 years ago, Wi-Fi is not really everywhere. But these days, whenever I go offshore, I feel like clients are a bit more susceptible and sensitive about having Wi-Fi, so people can contact their family. So you can still talk to your family and get to know what they are doing today and all that, right? So that is one way of having it. And they also have the best gym out there, the best food out there, the best sunset and sunrise. So that what helps me through. So that is how I deal with my mental health whenever I feel a bit sad and that, right? So the last picture is when I was in Qatar. I was among South American crew. We have Pak Patrick there in the middle, from Indonesian. So I think every picture that I put here, it speaks a lot of volume in people, you know. And actually people is what have helped me through it. And the best people that I've met during my journey in SRB is actually from the field. So now I'm not in the field anymore, but I always cherish those people and always ask where you are, how you guys doing. And things changes and all that, but the friendship is still there, right? And then that is 2019. Moving on to 2019 to 2020, I'm still within the same role, doing a different thing. So if you can see in the first picture, that is actually me taking a lead of a role engineer. Taking a role of a lead engineer. So what I do at the first picture is basically we are doing a well testing operation. So well testing operation is like we are testing the well to know the potential of the well, right? So we record pressure, temperature, rates, volume recovered, volume flat. So I'm the one where all the information are being fed through. So whatever coming from the well, I will see it first in my screens there, right? So I can see if, okay, we have a gas coming, okay, pressure is enough, we will pass on through the separator. So taking on a little bit of lead role, telling people out there what to do, telling people with 20, 25 years experience what to do out there, it can be a little bit scary. But what I've done over the years is, if you want to, not basically telling them what to do, if you want to be a key figure in an operation, you need to be competent yourself, right? So the key is whenever they ask you a question, make sure you have answered. And if they question you, you answer it, you question them back, right? So you have to build the rapport. The rapport in such a way that, okay, I am competent. I can be a contribution to this operation. What I say matters, right? So that is my lead role. My lead role during operation. The second picture is when I'm in Singapore. It was quite funny here. Actually, I was hanging around maybe 20 meters above the sea level, right? Try to pull a very heavy slings or a wire rope, right? Because we need to make the booms up. But apparently, they have a trick on how to make it like effortless, right? So you don't even need to hold it. You pull one time and you wrap it around a structure, and then you can put a minimal effort, right? So that is quite interesting. And actually, this is a few tricks that you learn because you spend time offshore, right? And then in the third picture is actually when I have to go into a vessel. So we have this huge, big vessel. It's as big as a bus, right? We have a lot of effluent remaining. We have contaminants inside that. So we need to clean it. So I'm the only person small enough to fit through the manhole. So I go in, clean everything, you know, and come out. And have to wear a hair cover, because if it falls into your hair, it will stick with you for 3 days, right? So this is the experience that I managed to collect during my days in 2020. And then going into a little bit more calmer role, not really calmer. I would say it's more on office-based role. Is when I moved back to Malaysia in 2021 as a senior field engineer. By then I got promoted to project engineer, or CEC, we call it customer engagement coordinator, right? I think at this point, COVID hits, right? And life, it start to give a little bit more life to, and also perspective to life. And I managed to get a chance to come home, and I take it, right? Because I was telling myself, yeah, if I got COVID, I might not see my parents again, right? So I take it, and I come home. But coming home at that point is really not easy, because I was based in Kuala Lumpur, and it was MCO at that time. You cannot go anywhere, you can't meet anyone. If you want to go out, you will got stopped by a police, right? You have a very minimal hours that you can go buy groceries. So less space time with people. And it was quite tough at that point, because I don't know the client. I was new to Malaysia market at that moment. Less FaceTime means you don't know the client. They don't have a personal touch with you, right? So I was pushed to learn on how to get to know people over WhatsApp. And it was quite interesting, because all of my clients are quite senior, right? They don't like texting. So usually in the morning, when I try to text them, and text get a little bit of come a bit heavy, and I can sense they start replying me like bit and pieces, right? You know, I just give them a call, right? Okay, how? And then you always start with what they like. So I come back home, and I realize apparently everyone in Malaysia love golf, right? So I start doing some information gathering on golf, trying to sound it like that I know golf. But the problem is, now when there are no more MCO, now I'm pushed to play golf with them. So I need to start learning golf now. But it's quite nice. So there's a few things that put me on the spot and push me to learn very, very quickly, right? So moving to the office position, I learned more about handling operations, how to manage crews, right? I learned about project financials, I learned about training and mentoring, and even recruiting, right? And then there is a chance where I got I get asked to become a UTM campus manager, right? And UTM has always have a soft spot in me, and I say yes, right? So taking all of this opportunity, it make me learn new skill, my soft skill, my generic skill, how I deal with people, how I deal with conflict, right? And I learn business acumen, I learn how to deal with clients. So a lot of things has been a bit challenging at times, but more eye-opening as well, right? So that is 2021, 2024. I spent 3-4 years doing this. I take care of a couple of clients. We always do, if you see the picture, actually, we always have a service quality meeting where I need to present it among a very senior group of people. And then I also arrange and manage training for Petronas. We also attended a booth for, I think this is one of Petronas interactive day, or technology interactive day, right? So we present our technology, and also if you see the two bottom, I always whenever Hanif come and ask me if I wanna tag along for recruiting, I always say yes. And if it's UTM, I definitely say yes 2 times, right? Because I always enjoy coming back to UTM, talking to you guys. Enjoy my ayam madu in Chengal. That is one of my favorite. So that is interesting, I would say, life of an engineer to me, right? And circa 2025, top this year, I then come 2025. I think this is the biggest career change that I have undertaken during my days in SLB. I changed to a completely new roles, a new domain, new expertise. So it is very, very different. Not very different, I would say it's different from my expertise and my domain of well testing, but I choose to take it, you know, because from well testing, which is reservoir performance, to midstream production solution or system, is quite a big change of understanding the technology, understanding how it works, understanding the market, getting to know the players, right? But I take it as a challenge because I think at that point, I am ready for a change in my career, right? So I moved to midstream production system. We provide equipment for oil and gas processing, mostly from offshore platform to a refinery, right? So if before this I was part of a drilling team. I was from the pore to the surface. Now I'm from the surface to the user, right? To the refinery, to Kerteh refinery, to MRC SPE, right? So then I meet my new team. So if you see, I have my new team with me. And I also surrounded by different people at this point. It's a very different environment from where I am when I was in upstream. Upstream is about pressure, demand, we need it now, we need to make sure it's right. But when I moved to midstream production system, it's about planning properly, making sure that we got this covered, right? Because we have a bit more time to look over everything. And right now I'm closer to HQ, but closer to HQ means you work more in isolation, right? You don't really have anyone to tell you how to do it, right? You are being given a degree of freedom to do however you like, as long as you achieve the objective. So it's different now, right? So always go and visiting clients, mostly in Philippines, Indonesia, India, Brunei, and Singapore. Different also from the point of client dynamics. They are less upbeat, but the new technology and market to learn is a big one for me at this moment. I also spend more time in sales and commercial while at the same time doing the technical bit, right? So if you see the pictures, the first one is actually one of the initiatives that I have done. Not I have done, our team have done. We are actually feeding the homeless in part of KL. So usually we will go to Masjid Jamek area, or we go to Pasar Seni area where we have a lot of homeless and gelandangan people around that area. So I will put on a bag with a lot of food. So we distribute the food to all the people out there, right? And it was quite an interesting experience because you can see people that are less fortunate than you are. And then from there, you start being a bit more grateful on what you have, right? And also you feel like you want to share more, right? Because sometimes talking to them is quite sad because most of them being a homeless are not their choice, right? So the second one is actually when I was in UTM, you know, and we have a few visits from HQ, and that's my team again. And the right one is actually one of our clients in Philippines, so Petron. So that is from Petron, right? So I think I talk a lot about, I would say, I talk a lot about who am I professionally, right? But I think I want to touch a bit on what is my journey as me, right? So I do quite spend a lot of time in doing extreme sport, but now I'm a bit older. I start to have all of this. Should I do it or should I not? You know, my brain start thinking more compared to before, right? All this picture is the first one is actually when I was doing tender skydiving from 14. Was scary. I cannot even feel my because it was cold. So this is in Australia, it's actually in Australia, right? But it was really exhilarating and I really enjoyed it a lot. And that day I discovered one new thing about my life, which is I actually a bit scared of, you know, falling from a moving thing, right? But it's okay. That is the last time I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll do it again. Maybe I change my mind. But I also spend a bit more time, you know, you're above the land. So now I'm below the land. So I do free diving. I do actually hold a certification of free diving, where you go dive without a tank and just the whole holding your breath, right? So my depth is around 10 to 15 meters. But then after some time, I moved to diving with the tank because I want to go deeper and longer because I want to see what's down there. So I also have an advanced diving certification. And again, you will see me jumping from a building every chance I got. That is me doing bungee jumping when I was in Korea. I do actually quite enjoy a super bike ride with my friends. That is when we go to Skinchan. That is my luxury bike there. But this day as well, I actually downgrade. I did not downgrade. Now I just bought a scooter because I realized it's easier to go around in KL with a scooter, but I still have my bike. I also usually do a little bit more on SPE-UTM. I think last time you also invite me and sharing on a female, you know, I guess. And I play sport and I also enjoy a little bit of extreme outdoors, going to Taman Negara and all that. So I'm not too sure if we're going to take questions now, but I'm at the end of my sharing. Maybe we have some time to kill around 15 minutes if there's any question from my sharing. Maybe you guys can put it in the chat or unmute yourselves.
I think there's not yet question. So maybe you can, there's 10 minutes left, you can like share more.
Just give me a second. Can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yes, clear.
Just give me a second, yeah. Right here. Okay. So because I think I saw someone actually raising their hand just now. Maybe not, yeah. Okay. All right. So I think I'm trying to think about a few questions that I received during UTM Pearl, right? And I do actually have few comments because I think I talk a lot about how it is being from a UTM student up until today. So maybe I can share how it was for me. So I actually get the interview. So I just like you guys, I went to the UTM Career Carnival, and then I remember I go every year, right? I don't wait until my final year to go to the career fair and just find internship. I go every year. I get my expectation right. When I go to the career fair when it was my first year, I already target a few companies that I want to work with, and SLB has always been one of it, right? So for me, a lot of things that I realize, a lot of people that come to me and ask about question only have two things in the objective, right? They want to get an internship and they want an employment. I rarely see first year or second year students come to a career carnival But actually, coming a bit earlier is better because you can set expectation on what you want to be and give you some time to learn about the company, right? So whenever I see one first year and second year student come to me and ask question about SLB, I was quite impressed because technically you don't really need to be there, but you come because you genuinely want to know about the company, right? So for me, it is very, very important for a student to get informed about what they want to do, about their life, right? So that is about acing an interview, right? The second bit is about cultivating the essential skills required by an employer, right? There's a lot of students that come to me and speak to me in Malay. I don't have a problem of you speaking to me in Malay. But if you want to appear more professional, you cannot sideline English as the most prioritized skills, right? So you need to make sure you sharpen your communication skill, your language skill. Do not sideline English, always practice English. And how I do it actually, it was quite interesting because I integrate the English language within my daily life. Back in 2011, 2012, when I was in UTM, there are this one TV show called Glee. I'm not sure if you guys know, but it was interesting because Glee, I was so crazy about Glee. I watch Glee every day, right? Every time I go to K9 or to the makcik, warung makcik kat bawah at KP that time, I will tapau food. I bring to my room in KP and I will open Glee. And I always make sure I open Glee with an English subtitle. So I eat while we're watching, but whenever I find something interesting about what they say, I will write it down. Right? Okay, what is this word? And I Google what is this word. How can I make sentence from it? So that develop your sense of your of English speaking skills, right? And I think the last bit that is quite important, especially for a younger generation, is you need to have a, I'm not saying that the most important thing, but it can be a bonus point is if you have a good personal branding, right? You know, you network with your recruiter, you always in contact, you know, it doesn't have to be recruitment related. Maybe you just generally, you know, in contact with the recruiter, and make sure you have all the details right in your resume. I do actually do a few of a resume review when I was in UTM Pearl, and I actually saw quite an impressive resume as well. Because a lot of resume that I've seen, especially from student level, is all about telling me what they do, right? Telling me or telling someone what you do is different in comparison to telling someone what you do and how it impacts you or impacts whatever you are doing, right? So you can be very good at telling someone what you do, but telling what impact things you do is not everybody's skill. And I do see a few, I would say, good resume that do that, right? I think one of the things that I can remember is that, like, I was assisting, one of the key point that student wrote is actually I was assisting managerial reporting to managerial reporting points to capture a minute of meeting to ensure a good handover between shifts. You see, that's the difference. You can tell me you are capturing minutes of meeting, but then he told me that I capture minute of meeting because it can help to streamline handover process between departments. So that's what he do, and that's what it impacts to the whole process operations, right? Yeah, I think that's all I have for today, right? I'm almost time. I think it's 8:40. I have another 4 minutes. If there's any question for me, please put it through. I can spend some time, or not, I'll pass it on back to the moderator.
Hi, Ms. Sophia. I'm Avinash here. So I just want to ask that, what do SLB mainly sees on getting an employment in their company? Is it our CGPA or SPM or anything?
I think there's, you cannot only see it in only one perspective, right? Maybe to share with you, I wasn't a first class student. I wasn't dean list, right? But then I think this is what I also tell people during UTM as well, right? Your CGPA is what gets you through the door, right? Of course, there will be a minimum CGPA requirement. But then what makes you stay in the room is your extra points, right? So what I always tell people or student is, you know what? You always need to aim to do above and beyond. If you are only do what you are expected to do, you are same as anyone else, because people do what are expected of them. But what's going to make you different than other people is go one step higher. And how to define that one step higher, you need to be creative, right? It's as simple as, okay, I need to do 5 reports, but I do 7. So automatically, you are standing out already because you do more than people, right? Same like CGPA, let's say minimum CGPA requirement from, let's say 3 to 4, let's say, right? But you have all these people that is 3.3, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8 within the same range, right? But what does make you different? You play sport, you know, you in MPP, you join this robotics, you know, you are in mathematics, decathlon or triathlons, I'm not sure. But that is what standing you out, right? So if I can answer your question, is you need to be a little bit of everything. That is gonna help
Thank you, Ms. Sophia.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear my voice?
Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So I hear your story and very amused. So my name is Jiaxing. So actually, I have a question about usually when you apply for, like for example, you apply for a job for trainee at SLB, you usually have to wait for the interview. So may I know how long usually the interview process will take, and what should I do when I waiting for the interview process at the same time I'm waiting for interview process, and also what can I do actually other than waiting?
Okay. Sorry, Liana. Are you gonna cover this question in your presentation, or I can answer it?
Yeah, I will also cover the interview
Okay.
along with
All
the
right. So, yeah, Liana will cover your first part of the question, but I will answer the second part of your question about what can you do, right, while waiting. So during my time, I feel so old whenever I talk like that, right? During my time, because I'm not. But when I was back then, I don't have too much of an access to all of these online courses or internet as per speak, right? Because my home doesn't have internet. So whenever I want to go and connect to internet, I usually need to go to cyber cafe before, right? So what I do at that point, I always, of course, I take a job, right? So I was waiting for SLB after I got my letter. It's around actually 9 months, because at that point it was a recession and the oil price go down. I have the 9 months, and I actually work as a quality engineer in Portland. But I want to share, actually, I work as an engineer from 8 to 5, but I actually do Grab from 5 until midnight, right? So I think at that point, it's about try to fill your time with something that beneficial for you. But maybe for you guys at this current age, maybe you can go for courses to sharpen your skills, right? I know there's a lot of free courses out there about, for me personally, even though I'm an engineer, I love finance. So I always find some time to go take this free finance course, finance for unknown financial managers. I do this ACCA certification. So I'm a bit of a nerd. But then for you guys, maybe you can find your niche, what you like to do, and then you can put this and take an online course to sharpen your skills. Even so, at this moment, since I moved to MPS, I find my new passion. I love coffee, which is I have a coffee machine at home. So I learn latte art, and I also baking. So I think it's about finding what you like and learn how to get those skills. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, Miss Sophia.
All right.
I don't
Thank you,
think we
Miss
have
Sophia.
time. I think we are over time, right? Should
Yeah,
be
it's okay. It's okay.
8:45. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank you,
heartfelt-
everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Welcome. Heartfelt thank you to Miss Hidayah Sophia Hitzer for the thoughtful and inspiring session. We are grateful for the time you have taken to walk us through your experience in an engineer journey after UTM. Your insight have certainly left a lasting impression and inspired many of us today. All right. Now, moving on to our next speaker, we are delighted to welcome Ms. Hafizah Liana Peter, a talent acquisition specialist with SLB East Asia. She has recently completed Master of Business Administration (MBA) at the University of West of Scotland. She has 3 years of experience with SLB, where she is part of the Human Resources Department under the Talent Acquisition Team supporting the East Asia Geo Unit, comprising of 7 countries in the region. From Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, she also holds a bachelor degree in Business Administration (BBA) from University College Sabah Foundation (UCSF), where she was honored as the valedictorian of her graduating class. A recognition personally awarded by the Minister of Sabah. To date, she had strategically interviewed, hired, and placed more than 400 graduates across different business and countries in SLB. Now, Ms. Hafizah will be sharing her expertise on resume building and interview insights, offering practical tips that will surely benefit many of us, especially those preparing to enter the workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a warm virtual welcome to Ms. Hafizah. Ms. Hafizah, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Zaid. All right. Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well and still energized, even though it's already 8:50. Thank you so much for the invitation. I still remember some of you from my visit to UTM recently, and it's good to see you guys again. And I recognize a lot of names in this call. Without further ado, let's jump into the winning resume part. Let me share. All right. Hi, everyone. So before I jump into the winning resume, I would like to introduce myself properly. So my name is Hafiz Aliana, and I have been in talent acquisition for almost 3 years, and very happy to be here today to meet all of you and to be giving this talk. So without further ado, I would like to jump into tip number 1. So for number 1, your resume has to be clear and the layout has to be very organized. It has to be easy to read and the sections have to be logical. For instance, you can see here I have highlighted the languages, experience, education, extracurriculars. These are the titles for the points. Why I'm saying this is important, so when the recruiter receive your resume, they don't have to search for, to flip just to find where they should study, because some of them don't really highlight the languages, the experience. They just put there, like with the same font. Also, this resume is very easy to read, as you can see. And one more thing, the font used in this resume, if you can see, it's formal rather than using something very stylish. This is way better and easy for us to read through. And the font size that we recommend to use is 10 to 12. Also, why is having a clear and organized layout very important? Because a study showed that recruiters typically spend less than 10 seconds when they receive the resume to review the resume and to think if it's worth reading through. So less than 10 seconds is like just a glimpse. So that's why it is really important to have a clear and organized layout. Some candidates also use very small layout. I mean, very small font, like size 8, just so that they can squeeze everything into one page. Yes, having a 1 to 2 pages of resume is really good, but there are other ways where you can fit all this information into one piece of paper or 2 pieces of paper. And any of you can tell me how you can do that without minimizing the font size? If you take a look at this resume. Anyone? I want this session to be interactive because I understand that it is late at night. I want to make sure that you guys are paying attention.
Sorry. I
Yes.
think like maybe like you can remove some of the not so important things, I think, like extracurricular activities and such.
Okay, extracurriculars are very important. Like I still put there, and you're right, we can simplify some of the text, which is correct. But there are other ways, and this is something that a lot of people don't notice when they do their resume. So I often give this tip to them if they want to put everything inside into the 1 page of paper or 2 pages. Anyone else can tell me? Smaller line spacing is also correct, but there's something else.
I think Hafiza is language. I think.
Language? No, not really. The references, not really. Picture also you can put. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, it's the margin.
The margin.
Do you see it? Do you see it? they don't use the normal margin for Word document. The name size also, yes, important. But the margin, if you can see, it's narrow. It's not the normal one. And some even use the white one, the white margin layout. So that wastes a lot of space for the resume. All right. Right. So jumping into the photo, someone mentioned remove the photo. Yes. Putting your photo is optional, but it's also good to have your photo on your resume. But if you want to put your picture on your resume, just make sure that it is small and professional. It doesn't have to be this professional. It doesn't have to be like a passport picture, but it has to show the recruiters that your face is clear. So we recruiters, we attended a lot of career fairs and we have dealt with thousands of candidates. We may not remember their names, but when we receive the resume, we look at the picture, they're familiar, and then we will remember them straight away. So that's also one of the benefits of putting your picture on your, like I mentioned, if you want to put them in your resume, make sure they're small and professional. So the photo is placed neatly at the corner of the resume, if you can see, and it's professional looking. Like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be like this professional, but it's better if it's this professional, and just make sure that your face is clear. So I remember a recruiter told, okay, why is your picture, it's not when I was working, why is your picture and your name so big in this resume? You're not applying for a model agency. Get what I mean? So your photo and your names can be just enough, doesn't have to be that big. Unless you're applying for a model agency, then yes. All right, so this one. So your resume has to be tailored to the job that you're applying for. So when you apply to a job, there has to be a job description, job requirements. So make sure that you fit the requirements. It doesn't mean that you don't need to put general things in your resume. Yes, putting general things is okay, but make sure that your resume is also tailored to the job. For instance, the job description mentions that we're looking for someone who has good teamwork skill. So you can mention that in your resume that good teamwork, led a team of 10 engineers. So this kind of thing, it means that you really studied about the job that you were applying for and not just simply printing your resume and apply to every company. One more thing, it's important if you're applying to other companies, make sure to read before you hand in, because we don't want you guys to hand in your resume and it or cover letter and it mentions another company, right? Because it happened a lot of times. Applying to SLB would mention Dear Google. So this kind of things, make sure that it is tailored to the job or company that you're applying for and match keywords from job description. So tip number 4 is to focus on achievements. And this is something that I only learned while doing my bachelor's degree. And this is very, very good. So instead of just highlighting what you did, what your task was, you also mention outcomes and numbers. Like here, you can see that it mentioned that contributing to a 5%, receiving a 5/5 score, energy loss by 18%, manage a team of 4, instead of just mentioning manage a team. Receiving score, contributing to improvement. So you put the numbers there and it kind of showed the impact and not just the task. And also it is very important to put your CGPA in your resume just so that we are aware. It's okay if you think that your CGPA is mediocre, but putting your CGPA is really important. Also, I would like to mention putting your phone number and email are also important because we have actually met candidates that did not put their phone number and email and we did not know how else to reach out to the candidate. it's also good to put your LinkedIn profile and where you're from, the location. Right. So number 5 is make sure that your resume is error-free. So yes, there were candidates that did not put their phone number, but there were also candidates that put the wrong phone number or wrong email address. So we could not reach out to the candidates because the contact details that were provided to us did not really exist. And also make sure that your resume is free from grammar mistakes. There were also studies conducted where recruiters usually don't bother reviewing a resume once they detected a grammar mistake or a spelling error. So make sure that when you write your resume, there's no spelling or grammar mistakes. And double check your contact info, like I mentioned, the dates and company names. We have also received a resume where they mentioned that they have just graduated, but in their education, it showed that they graduated in 2022. So how is that possible? It means they did not update resume at all since 2022 when I asked them. So it is really important to keep updating your resume to the latest info before submitting them every single time. Doesn't matter if it's just within 2 months, maybe there are things that you can put in your resume, new things that are way better. Right. The next tip is to think like a recruiter. So the file type. So it means the file type when you hand in your resume, when you submit your resume, not physically, but when you submit it, what is the best file type for you to submit your resume in?
PDF.
Correct, PDF. There were people that submitted their resume in Word, which is not good because you know that sometimes it can ruin the layout, right? When you submitted it in Word and then you open it in another laptop, it's different. And the next one is header and footer. Like I mentioned, best to put your contact details, where you're from, and your picture has to be small. Your name has to be just enough. It doesn't have to be too big. And when you're writing your resume, ask these questions. Who, what, where, when, and why? Who are you? Who are you trying to introduce yourself as to the recruiters? What are the skills that you have that are aligning with the job description and requirements? Where do you stay at? And why do you think that the job location is good for you? When are you free? When are you graduating? And why? Why do you need this job? Why are you the perfect candidate for the job? So if you're using a template, as you can see, so this is typical template that you can get from Word, Canva, and such, right? So this is a sample resume that you can use. So you can put your LinkedIn link and utilize all the spaces. The hard thing about using a template is you have to make sure that the spaces are just right for you because everyone is different, right? So that's why using a template is a bit tricky. And your photo, and you have to rename your file to your name because there were people who handed in their resume and the name was minimalist resume, white layout and such. Because if you open this kind of template, that's the name of the template. So when you save that file, it's gonna be that name, minimalist layout resume, gray, white. All right. So now I'm going to ask you, why is this resume bad? Can type in the chat or you can unmute your mic.
The photo.
Yes. Yellow pen, yes. Anyone else? Is that all? The photo and the color, the margin, the outlook messy, not tidy. Yes. So you guys are right. So the photo is very big and it's very unprofessional. It's too empty, yes. And there's one thing that you guys cannot notice because the colors that they use is yellow, which is the typos. The experience, if you can see, the summary, there are typos in there, but you guys can barely see it because it's in yellow color, right? So there are also no numbers. So like I mentioned, you have to also put your achievement instead of just the task. And the details are incomplete. It's too empty. And the layout, the margin layout used is white. We have seen a lot of resume that are 4-page long because of the margin. The CGPA is also not inside the resume. Right, so that's it for the resume. Now we will jump into the winning interview stock. Before that, I would like to show you the type of interviews that we had. Yes, it was mentioned that back in the days, there were like 4 rounds of interview for SLB. And actually, it's not just back in the day, it's up to till this day, we still have rounds of interview. So these are the types of interview that we have. Can anyone tell me what are these? What type of interviews? Picture number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are all different. Phone call, yes. Phone screen. What else? No one?
Individual.
Virtual, yes. Assessment, group interview, yes. So we have the phone screen, we have this physical interview, one-on-one interview, we have panel interview, we have group interview, we have technical tests, and we have virtual interview. So these are the types of interviews that are conducted for most companies. So it's important before you walk into an interview, you have to know yourself. You have to know what is your brand. If you think that you are the, let's say you have good project management skill. So that's your brand. So when you walk into the interview, you tell them a story of something that it outlines your brand. I will tell you how to tell a story to the recruiter using the STAR method. So this is really important. When they know, when you know yourself, especially you're confident, you know what is your brand, that will leave an impactful recruiters. But before that, you have to do your homework. So you have to do research about the company, not just the history. Yes, especially if you are from UTM, we visit UTM every year, and for you to not know SLB is really weird. But like Sophia mentioned, right, you have to do your homework if you really want something. So you have to do a research on the company. Also read the news and trend about the industry, about the oil and gas industry, for an example. Because if you know these things, you will impress the recruiters. You have to also understand the job role. So you read about the job description, study the industry, read the news about the industry, and prepare your stories using the STAR method. So this is the STAR method, STAR. So, as is the situation. So describe the background. Where were you and what was happening? Let's say like there was a system issue and T is for the task. Explain what you had to do. What was the challenge or responsibility? For instance, you created an app that would streamline the process and it would help by 20%. That's also in the action, which is describe what you personally did, how did you handle it? And then you share the result, share the outcome, what happened, what did you achieve? So we managed to led a team of 10 engineers by doing this and that, which helped us in overcoming the system issue. So this is the STAR method. Okay, this is also very important when you are doing a virtual interview. I notice a lot of candidates when they join an interview, they join like 1 minute before or right on time. If they start at 10 a.m., they only join the call at 10 a.m. or 9:59. So it would be better if you join like 10 minutes. You can test your microphone and camera and make sure they're working well. And the dress code, wear formal, eye contact, look to the camera. We can tell if you're reading off of something. It's so obvious when you're reading off of something. Especially if you're wearing glasses, like we can see the reflection. And also, and distractions, make sure that you're in a room with no distraction. So when I was in my university, when I got the invitation to do an interview with SLB, I was so excited that I locked myself in an empty classroom just to attend that 30-minute interview because I did not want any distraction. So when you're attending a virtual interview, make sure that you're preparing a place where your internet connection is good and where there will be no distraction. There will be no one running around behind you. There would be no one laying on the bed behind you. And yeah, if you join 10 minutes early, we can actually test that your microphone and camera are working well. And last but not least, the body language. So when you talk in the virtual interview, don't like just sit still and like reading off of something and your head goes from left to right. It's kind of obvious, you know? So it kind of turns the recruiters off. So make sure that you dry run, you join the interview 10 minutes earlier, dress code, formal, so eye contact, help and distractions, make sure that you are prepared and you are in a room with no distraction, body language, and also make sure that your phone numbers are contactable before the interview. Because if something happened, we would call. So now I will show you a really short video, the good, the bad, and the hired.
Scholar 50 Cent. I plan to get rich or die trying.
What would you say your greatest achievement is?
I began my last job joining a failing team, and so was commended on my leadership in turning that around. The only thing was I was 8 and the other competitors were 10 or 11. So to come third was a real achievement, particularly as I'd never even seen a conker before. The next year, still, to be recognised at an industry awards gala was a surprise, but a nice surprise. Apparently it had been in there for 5 years. My granny keeps it in a jar on top of her mantelpiece.
Can I inquire about your last role? Why did you leave?
Why? What have you heard? Of course. And I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't feel the job was a good fit for my aspirations. And I wanted to focus on finding a position that I could really make my own. And I believe that this is that role. What part of no comment don't you understand?
What would you say your biggest weakness is?
Delegation. I like things done right, and so I often end up taking on too much by myself.
I know how that feels. What would you say your biggest weakness is?
Delegation. I like things done right, so I often end up taking too much on myself.
Right. Notice how the candidate on the right is way better than the one on the left, right? And I would like also to point out that he said that his weakness is delegation. And it's a very unique weakness. It's not a typical weakness that we hear from the candidates. So usually candidates, when they're asked, what are your strengths and weakness, they would choose the first ones that pop up on Google, and it's so obvious. And the most typical one is my weakness is I'm very attention to detail, which makes it time consuming for me to complete something. And that's the typical weakness that we always hear. So make sure that this is also part of your brand. When you're coming up with something, make sure that it's unique. And yes, the conclusion is be who you are. When you're confident and you know who you are, that's how you show the recruiter your brand. That was all for me. Thank you so much for your attention, everyone. Can we move on to the questions?
Okay. So thank you very much, Ms. Hafizah and Peter, for that informative and engaging session. Your insight on resume building and interview strategies were not only practical, but also highly relevant for students and fresh graduates preparing to step into the professional world. We truly appreciate you taking the time to share your expertise with us today. It has been both eye-opening and empowering. So from today's session, we can obtain many valuable insights based on Ms. Sophia's work experience from 2017 to present. I've learned that things can change very quickly. That's why it is important to face whatever comes our way with an open heart and positive attitude. Meanwhile, things that you need to take note from Ms. Sophia's session are: we need to be authentic and confident during the interview. Secondly, we need to sharpen our communicating skills. Like we need to be more better in English. And then for the third one, for first and second year students, it is better if you guys find the right company to work with. Meanwhile, what I gained from Ms. Hafizah winning resume session, we need to make sure our resume has an organized layout, put picture like so people would remember your face, and you need to make sure the points in resume tailored to the job. Moreover, you need to focus on the listing achievement and use 5W technique when writing the resume. So from Ms. Hira, sorry, now we proceed to the Q&A session. If you have any question for our speakers, please feel free to type them in the chat box or use raise hand feature. Once you are selected, our team will unmute your microphone so you may ask your question directly. We kindly ask that you introduce yourself briefly before asking your question. Let's get started.
Hello, Miss Hafizah. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
I'm Ryan. May I ask what's the difference between a CV and a resume? And do you prefer students to submit a CV or a resume, or is either one of?
So from what I understand is a CV is more detailed and it outlines everything, the extracurricular activities, the experience, achievements, and language, whereas resume is more simplified. And what was the second question? Would I prefer someone who with CV?
Do you prefer students to submit a CV or a resume?
A CV, because as mentioned that we are looking also at the achievements.
Sure. Thank you.
So, right, good
Honey.
evening. Hello, yeah, just want to make sure I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Okay, look, now, to be completely honest, for students or fresh graduates or even anyone with less than 2 years of experience, right? There aren't so much difference of either CV or resume. What are the most things that people can do to include more than 2 pages in? You may have 10 achievements. You may have 10 societies that you join in. What matters is the top 3 that we look at, right? So that's why I always emphasize, whatever you put in, it is fine to put in only the top 3 that you have, but whatever you have, you need to take ownership of what you have. For example, if you write down that you are the secretary of SPE, for example, right? And if I were to ask you, what was your budget for 2024? And you have no idea over that, right? So that shows me a little bit of understanding over how heavily involved are you with SPE. Now, if you put 10, you are exposing yourself for 10 more questions, right? So it is always fine to have no more than 2 pages of CV, but the most important thing is you take ownership over whatever that you put in, because that is the only evaluation I have of you. Whatever you put in, if you are joining in this club as a fellow member or a fellow committee, logistics committee, HR committee, regardless, be sure that you take ownership of it. You must know exactly what you did as that particular member. It is fine if it's not something bombastic anyway, but as long as we can judge that whatever you do, you are taking your ownership of it. If you're just a committee member, fine, then tell me, what do you do as a committee member? If you put in your FYP, is that, say that you are all petroleum engineers, right? Your FYP is conducting a research over porosity calculation over something when you introduce this method, right? Fine, right? I know it's a research project and it doesn't necessarily need to yield a result. But when I ask what is the methodology, right, you are able to explain it to me as an engineer, even though it's just a very simple topic. So regardless, the question again, which one is more preferred? For a fresh graduate, doesn't matter. Because I do expect, even if you were to send in a CV, it should only be 2 pages as well. Because whatever you put in there, when you take real ownership of it, you will think that you can actually explain in detail. Out of 10 events you join, maybe 3 of them. So put 3 of them. So put the 3 highest ones. Now, your CV also needs to be able to tell a storyline. If you feel that your grades are not your greatest strength, right? You still need to put it there, but bear in mind, your strength is going to come in from your other participation. There must be something else you're good at. Even if you're good in basketball, fine. You can just mention, right? You played in this particular tournament, you were already in the captain team, you were the captain of your team, you played for 5 years straight. At least that's your strength, right? So you're not creating a story. It is about yourself. It's just how you sell it. Now, one thing to add, right? I'm sorry if I explained a little bit too long. What separates apart a candidate from one another? Especially for fresh graduates, you need to practice on something we call as the elevator pitch. You know, whenever you speak in an event, you speak to any of the recruiters, you speak in an interview. Remember, you are probably the 10th person of the day that are being interviewed, right? The attention span is not that long that we have. Unfortunately, we are all human, right? The attention span that I have, that Hafiz Aliana has, is not that long. So therefore, the first few seconds matters. And how do you work about it? You practice it so much that it becomes so convincing. Now remember, when I give this speech, for example, when I'm talking to you about these tips, it's not the first time that I talk about it. I've talked to students from other universities as well. Same thing. Right? It's not impromptu. I've practice it as well. Well, it's 3 years of practicing maybe, but still, for yourself, 30 seconds is the standard time to capture the attention. So whatever you say in the first 30 seconds, it matters a lot. Unless you're the lucky first person of the day, you have all our full attention. Well, truth be said, that HR and recruiting is still very, very dependable on human science as well. It's not done by a robot, right? That's how, well, you need an engineer to hire an engineer. So then again, I think I should be able to answer all the questions just now. All right, we can move on to the next one.
So there is a question from Churo E. What common mistake do candidates make during the individual interviews or group interviews?
Okay, if I may take this one as well.
Right.
You okay with it?
Yes, okay.
All right. Now, I won't really say it's a mistake. Now, the very obvious mistakes are what, like Liana mentioned, right? Is the one that perhaps you read it off your phone, you read it off your screen, but those are all very obvious ones. You don't need telling that that's a mistake. What I'm telling you, it's not necessarily a mistake. But let's say I am interviewing candidate A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? It's only a matter of who does better. Now, back then, many, many years ago, right, of course, students in petroleum engineering are very small. Or students in engineering as a whole is very small. Now, if you see, they are about 200,000 of science graduates, right? So it's not about what mistake you have done. It's about who does it better. So it's always about who does it better. Now, let me tell you a few things that set you apart from other candidates. I know 99% of graduates that I interviewed, whenever we ask them questions about what are your best qualities or what do you think is your weakness, 99% will give me the same exact 3 answers rotate over each other. What are your best strengths? 99% of students will give me also the same answer that we rotate among each other. I'm a hardworking person, attention to detail, or the weakness is attention to detail, and all these things. Why? It's easily accessible. Every interview tips you Google online will say that. Now, trust me, it's not wrong. It's not even a mistake. But it doesn't set you apart. What is the exact answer you need to give? I have no idea. You know yourself better than me, right? I'll give you a few examples, maybe. Right, these are coming in from some other students that are very good. And even though they are perhaps many people score much better than the person, but the person is able to capture the attention is what they said, and we can feel the sincerity. So we asked the person, what is it? What is your best qualities? So the person said, well, my best quality is that I never let my tongue slip. I let my brain go ahead first. Meaning that whatever that I am present with any situation, I do not speak out first. I'll think before talking. And I feel that that quality has brought me up all the way through my degree without having much quarrel with my teammates. You can see it's very sincere. And when I ask what is their weakness, say my weakness is that I had a lot of difficulties in my studies. And one thing is that I know I am very, very hard on myself, and it's not healthy. Sometimes we just need to accept defeat. If it doesn't work out, we work on something else. You see, it's very, very simple, right? But that sets the candidate apart from the rest who just mentioned, I'm a hard worker, my weakness is I'm attention to detail, and I'm take my time. So these things are not wrong. That's why, to answer your question, it's not a mistake. But what sets you apart from other candidates, remember, it is a very, very congested area for you to go and apply for a job that is operating in such a level, perhaps in a multinational company, right? So what we are looking at is for genuinity, and we are able to read the person. The easier it is for us to read the person, the easier it is for us to hire the person. We always want to hire the person who we feel has the lowest risk and the biggest return of investment. Well, you are my investment if we are to hire you. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
So anyone who have any question, you can like tap in the chat box or open your mic.
Hello. So I have a question. So let's say, since we mentioned about the mistake, so I want to ask, let's say I'm a candidate that first interview I will get nervous, right? So what is the best way like I can tackle the nervous or anxiety during the interview?
All right, thank you, Chun, right? Okay. Look, when I was in my third year, in my final year, I was in the same situation of you 15 years ago. Okay? There is no way around it. Nervous is good. You want it. If you're too chill, I would not take you in. Now, trust me, not just me. All of the recruiters are like that. If you're too chill, too calm, we do not take you in. Recognizing that you are nervous is good. Now, give me a second. Both myself and Liana, we are traveling.
Hanif have a problem with his line. Hanif?
Hello. Yeah, sorry, I'm in again. Right. Right. So now coming to the nervousness. Now remember, basically, interview questions for fresh graduates will not differ far from tell me about yourself, what is your strength, what is your weakness, what is your FYP, what is your active participation, why do you want to join us? It doesn't go very far away. We will not ask you to explain to me about the reservoir structure of the Malay Basin, because we know there are limitations to how much you have studied. I will not ask you exactly tell me about all the domains that we have in SLB. We know it's not beyond your capability, it's beyond your capabilities. The questions remain, and the only key of how you are able to overcome your nervousness is no other way than practicing it. It's no other way than practicing it to talk to yourself. Tomorrow, next week, you know you have an interview. Today, you have started to write down what is your supposed to be answers for this. Now, you are nervous if you don't know what you want to speak about. Remember, those 30 minutes of interview is not enough for you to rack your brain and think about something out of nowhere. It doesn't happen, my friend. It only happens only if you know what you want to speak about. Well, the idea is that your English might be broken or not, it doesn't matter. Right? It's message delivered, unique to you, sincere. Okay? All right. I think that's that I have for that.
Anyone got question you can ask?
I see a question. I will let Hanif take this question. So it was mentioned that many companies now use ATS. Are there specific keywords or phrases that help my resume stand out to the system? Could you provide some examples relevant to a software engineering student? It's a tracking system, right? ATS.
So, okay, you're right that many companies use ATS now, including SLB, nonetheless, right? And we still see issues from time to time. When you use ATS, sometimes you will get automatically declined. If especially you are using CV that is that you generated from Canva, where the fonts are not recognized, so this happens a lot of times. So a few things first. When it comes to SLB, right? We rely a lot on our partnership with universities. First things first, before we even go and look out to the community outside there in the public. Now, as you know, UTM and SLB has worked together for more than 2 decades. That's more than 20 years, right? Our country manager is also from UTM as well. And she has been with the company for more than 25 years. So that shows the partnership went a long way. Now, for UTM students specifically, we rely heavily on our physical interaction, which is why I'm in UTM 3 times a year. Whenever I met UTM student who came into a career fair in KLCC, I will tell the person, right? Look, I'm here looking for a position that I have already offered to UTM students in the first place. Right? So make use of the time that we will meet up in UTM, sessions like this. We have had interviews with 70 students last week in UTM. It took us about 9 hours to conduct all the interview. Well, of course, only 7 of them will join us, but still, right? ATS is there as a first level filter. And what happens if it doesn't pass the first level filter? It will keep on moving again in circle until you send in a new application. You cannot beat that, unfortunately. The system is not too smart enough to understand that you are losing a different format. But for example, if you're a software engineer, and I'll give an example for the positions that we have open in SLB. So we hire data and infrastructure engineer, right? And I need from them 3 things for them to be good at: SQL, NoSQL, and can use Linux, right? So if you know that these positions is not a secret, it's already in our website, the job description is there. I already wrote it down in the job description. So if you want to apply for that particular role, so these things are the keyword you need to say. Proficient in SQL, database, Linux, all these things, right? Well, things might not go your way if you're applying for multiple jobs using the same CV, right? My company's requirement is not the same as other companies' requirement. So therefore, again, if you are a UTM student, leverage on that relationship, right? Somehow, what is the best mean for me to hire a UTM student? I will definitely go to the channel that is, of course, the most preferred channel, directly via UTM Career Center. So based on that is where the first level and fair filtering is being done, which I would take it as a privilege for every UTM students, because so far, I believe that most of the hiring managers in SLB has no comments or complaints about the quality of students we got in, especially from the SPE and PE members from UTM. Okay, I hope I answered your question.
Right. So if anyone has the last question. You can drop it in the chat box if you have any. So there's one in the chat box by just Jolene again. So maybe you can answer it. Anyone?
Right. So the question is, what is the best time to start applying for an internship? For example, if it's in September, should I apply 2 or 3 months in advance? Okay. I'll answer by first stating what is it to the rest of other universities in Malaysia. For the rest of other universities in Malaysia, standard is going to be 1 semester before you start. Your semester might be 3 months, it's 1 semester before. It's a simple clear cut. Normally, 1 semester before we have said it. If your internship start in May, by early February, we have started the interviews already. That's for general universities in Malaysia. UTM, every year, the timeline is going to be the same. The interviews for the July intake will start during the UTM Career Carnival. We have been doing that for as long as I could remember. It has never changed, it will not change for as long as we continue to be part of the sponsor of Career Carnival. For those who are, I do know that some of the courses will start perhaps in September, in October. Not everyone starts in July, right? Therefore, I'm already working with the Career Center as we speak. I just spoke to your Career Center advisor as well this morning as well, planning for when we could start working on for those who will start in September. So you don't worry, you're in good hands. As long as you are all aware of the announcements made. Normally, I will post specific links for UTM students directly to the Career Center, and they will blast it to the group, to the students group. Now, on the general practice for all companies in Malaysia, a minimum of 3 to 4 months in advance. Why? If you are in PE and you are a PE student, right? If you are in any sort of engineering, I believe, if you are required to relocate, these companies will prepare it beforehand. Your laptop doesn't take 1 month to get it. It takes more than that, right? So your badges, employee badges, your laptops or registration, it needs to be done a couple of months before you arrive. So normally, my advice, if any of you are applying for a company outside of SLB, so normally it takes about 4 months is a good figure. And please, whenever you submit in your application, you should put in your start date and your end date as detailed as possible. Why? Nowadays, it is not just a company requirement. It is a government's requirement that we report to HRD, Human Resource Department, Talent Corp Malaysia, what is the starting date? What is the end date of the student's internship? It's not just SLB, it's not just company requirement. It's a government's requirement. So many times that we got in a CV of a good candidate, nevertheless. So doesn't state the exact start and end date. We try to call in the candidate answer the call 10 seconds and say, thank you, scammer. Turn off the call. Right? So it's going to be quite hard for us to do that. You can ask Liana. She called more than 50% of the day, every day in average. Right? So these things are very, very important to be mindful of. And if you're rejected by a company, can I apply again? You are welcome to apply again. If you failed your internship, it's fine to apply again for a fresh graduate role. But if you fail your interview during a fresh graduate role, normally the cooling period is about 2 years, standard across the board. If I can tell, if I may speak on behalf of my industry partners, if you fail your interview for your fresh graduate role, normally it's a 6-stage interview. If you fail that, the cooling period is about 2 years. I hope I answered your question.
So there's also like one question from Boon Hui. If I got an interview offer that give me only 1 day preparation, what should I do for the interview?
Okay, now, Liana, perhaps we are also guilty of this sometimes. Normally it's because we are on the road almost every other day. And for example, you know that there are always lists and rankings. Top 10 UTM students that we have interviewed. I only have 5 internship slots, right? So normally when more slots are open up, budget approval is being given, right? I will call on the 6th person. And this happens at the last minute. Nobody can escape that. It happens. Well, 1 day of preparation, I know it's not much, but think of it. Irregardless, you know that in July, you will start your internship. You will need to start, or you know that August is your graduation date regardless. This semester is a semester where you're looking for a job. It is almost always expected that if a company calls you, normally it's only about interview and nothing else, right? So you need to prepare beforehand. Normally in your last semester, you have already that in mind. If you got a call from a 03 number plus 03, it must probably be a company or a scammer asking for your WhatsApp, right? It's either two. Now, please don't give me the option that, oh, I did not get your call because I thought it's a scammer. I understand everyone in this call are engineers. You are well more educated enough to differentiate a recruiter and a scammer, right? So no, there is no direct answer. What happens 1 day before? I just hope that you have already made it in your mind. What are your 30 minutes elevator, your 30 seconds elevator pitch? Because otherwise, my friend, you will end up the interview being very, very nervous.
All right. So, anyone got any questions?
Well, if there is one last more, then I think it's nice to at least hear some voices rather than just typing. Perhaps I think that's it, right?
I think so. So thank you to all the participants for the wonderful and engaging questions. Ladies and gentlemen, as we draw near to the end of today's session, we would like to take a moment to express our sincere appreciation to our distinguished speakers, Ms. Hidayah Sofia Hizir and Ms. Hafizah Diana Peter, for the time, knowledge, and inspiration shared with us this evening. We would also like to extend our heartfelt thank you to our special guest, Mr. Hanif Sheikh Ali, for joining us during the Q&A session and sharing his valuable insights. Your presence has truly enriched our event. To honor their contribution, we would now like to invite Dr. Muhammad Akmal bin Muhammad Siddiq, advisor of SPE-UTM SC, and Mr. Kachun, the director of SPE Career Fair program, to present a token of appreciation in the form of an e-certification. May we kindly invite Ms. Hidayah Sofia Hizir to turn on her camera at this time.
Bagi sijil macam mana bagi sijil? I would like to thank Mr. Hanif. Mr. Hanif is our, orang kata, yang selalu bersama dengan UTM, Mr. Hanif. And also Liana and Sofia, thank you very much for this appreciation. Dan also selalu support our SPE program lah. Dalam SPE kami bukan setakat petroleum engineering student, but also we have a different background of student lah, such as from faculty computer and from the FKM and also FKE lah, from the mechanical and also electrical engineering. So Mr. Hanif, thank again dan kepada student.
No problem, Doctor. No problem, Doctor. It's actually we feel like it's an honor for us. It's part of our commitment as well.
All right, thank you very much.
Our commitment to UTM, yeah.
Okay, this is for future, orang kata, future sake lah, and for SLB. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for the invitation, Dr. Akmal. Hopefully to finally see you again face to face.
Sophia, when I see your picture and remind me back. those picture, dia macam tiba-tiba, teringat balik zaman-zaman pegang centong and so on lah, duduk offshore semua lah. So very good lah. This is a good experience to preparation mentally, especially for our student lah. Mentally yang penting. Dia bukan physical, dia mental. Okay. Thank you, Hidayah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And once again, a big thank you to our speakers for joining us today and sharing such valuable insights. Before we officially close, we would like to invite everyone to join us for a virtual group photo to commemorate this event.
Belum lagi ya, Hafizah? Hafizah, thank you very much. Orang Sabahan lah?
Yeah, I'm Sabahan.
Okay, itulah ada sedikit cakap Sabah tadi. Pekat cakap dulu. Terkeluar dia punya Sabahan tu. Thank you Liana for your kata sharing. So kita dampaklah strategi how to make a good CV and also preparation for before we go into interview. Ingat kepada student, anak-anak saya semua. So kita lihat kat situ, jangan jadi Karen tadi yang Liana tunjukkan video tadi, jangan jadi Karen. Jangan jadi Karen. So you need to be humble and be honest. Be honest. Thank you Liana.
Thank you so much everyone.
Dr. Ahmad.
Yes, Sophia.
Masih ada ke sesi mock interview UTM?
Mock interview biasanya kami ada, yang dulu kan how to survive you get employed kan, PhD kan. So sekarang ni dah tukar lah, ada mock interview juga, dan setiap student di UTM need to pass that professional certificate lah. Mereka ni ada, tapi itulah, some of the report from the industry said that our student has a good in technical but low in orang kata speech lah. Mungkin ada speech delay masa lahir kan. Kami pun tak tahu lah. Mungkin dia ada masalah communication skill probably lah. So in order to tackle this problem, so UTM provide some certificate lah to enhance their communication skill. Student kami di UTM ni bagus dari segi teori and technical and also practical. But in terms of deliver, the idea is lack lah. So that's why this is very good platform to them.
Kena banyak sikit lecturer orang putih. Tiba. Tak lah.
Saya ni tanya dengan mereka, saya killer juga. Saya garang kat kelas. Tapi kalau tak cakap dalam kelas, memang kena lah kan. Betul tak, Zaid? Pergi fieldwork kena jemur nanti. Okay, thank you Liana. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Miss Tanya, thank you very much.
No problem, Chief.
Saya pergi Indonesia, Miss Tanya pun ada. Saya pergi. Boleh menjadi bahagia.
Now we are all in we are doing a lot of different other works as well. We are now in a very, very deep part of Sabah, myself, Lena, and the rest of my team. We are working on improving the science and technology background of the students here.
Yes.
So yeah, that's why, like I said, we are more than happy to assist or to join in the UTM, especially anak emas for UTM lah, our SPE members kan.
Itulah Mr. Zaris lah ni.
Yeah, exactly.
Zaris.
He put a mandate. He put a mandate on my head and on my shoulder that we need to prioritize SPE-UTM first over everything else.
Dah agak dalam Mr. Zaris memang dia suka cubit. You tak ada talent dah. Sabarlah Mr. Zaris. Okay lah, bagus lah. I think yelah, bukannya apa kan. Because in the PE of UTM, we already established 50 years 50 tahun tu, ada lambang 50 tahun tu, sama macam Petronas. So itu adalah orang kata alma maters of all of the GM dekat SLB, Halliburton pun sama. So kita continue their legacy lah. Mr. Hanif.
Yeah, and one important thing as well. Now, sekarang ni most students are all in UTM SC student chapter. Once you graduate, you will join in as SPE-YP, young professional or youth professional. After that, right? Grow in more of your career. You boleh jadi kita punya extinguished guest, extinguished lecturer. We have all of this. Keep on being active in SPE. You'll find your connections will go all around the world. I have done that. Many other people have done that as well.
Okay. Ingat tu, kalau nak pergi luar negara pun UTM akan berikan bajet jugalah untuk UTM mobility seperti Sofia tu kan. Sofia tu dia pernah dapat mobility punya bajet. Sebab itu dapat pergi Korea kan, Sofia. So, mereka sekarang ni ada dekat Indonesia, one of our SP members, ada beberapa grup yang pergi Indonesia dekat Bandung bersama dengan Dr. Syazira lah. Together with Dr. Syazira, so they orang kata have a collaborate with the ITB and so on lah. So ITB have their own SPE also. Society Indonesia punya petroleum kan, dia own dia punya society. So kat situ good collaboration lah. And then kemudian next thing is Singapore lah. We try to penetrate the SPE UTM SC with Singapore, especially NUS lah. So mereka pun sangat tertarik dengan kita, Mr. Hanif, to do some collaboration, especially macam kita buat pertandingan apa tu, pertandingan macam-macam lah nanti, especially related to our FDP lah, Free Development Plan. Okay, thank you Mr. Hanif. Thank you very much. Okay guys, those already participate in this program. We in UTM really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you everyone. Picture session, anyone or done already?
Yeah, already done.
Done, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, and once again, big thank you to our speakers for joining us today and sharing such valuable insights. Before we officially close, we would like to invite everyone to join us for a virtual group photo to commemorate this event. We kindly ask all participants to switch on your cameras at this time. Also, a gentle reminder, please use the official participant background that has been provided for today's event. We will give everyone a few moments to get ready.
That's it. Okay.
Right, I think kita boleh bergambar. So now, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. So thank you everyone for your cooperation. As we come to the end of today's session, we would like to express our heartfelt thanks to our guest speakers, special guests, organizing committee, and of course, to all of you, our wonderful participants, for making this event a success. We hope today's session has been insightful and beneficial to you in many ways. Before we end our session, please make sure to join us for tomorrow's talk. However, due to an unexpected event, the speaker would be Ayu Shahirash Salim, and the starting time will be at 8 p.m. The details will be updated in the WhatsApp group. We hope to see you there. We kindly ask all participants to scan the QR code on the screen for attendance confirmation and to claim your UTM merit point. Okay, we'll give some time to scan it.
Okay, semua dah scan UTM merit, so we go to the UTM merit first after this.
Okay, so I hope everyone has scanned it. With that, we officially conclude today's program. Thank you once again for being with us, and we wish you a pleasant evening ahead. Stay safe and take care. Take care.
Thank you very much, guys. See you again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.